Hey everybody, this is John with Buffsincebirth. It's my very first podcast. It's my birthday, so I decided to start a podcast about something that I pretty much live and die with, which is Buffalo football. I live in Arizona now, but I was born and raised in Boulder, Colorado, and actually know a lot and care a lot about the Buffaloes. My dad started taking me there to games since I think my first game was in '75. I've been to every single Ralphie's football, every Ralphie that's happened. I've seen them run, which is cool. She is awesome. By the way, other content providers, it's a she because they can't handle a male run around the field, but best mascot in college in my opinion. So anyway, so I know a lot about it. I'm gonna enjoy it. I love the Buffs, and there's just not that many people that are from Colorado that really care as much as I do about the Buffaloes. This is my best friend, Gary. I've known for 20 years, and he's going to help me out. He's an ASU fan, which is I've been in Arizona for 20-some years, and my daughter went to ASU, so I'm also a fan of ASU, except for when Colorado's playing them. Gary knows nothing about CU football, but I wanted somebody to talk to just football with me and some banter back and forth, and yeah, he has no clue about football except for what he hears me putting on my TV every day, pretty much every minute.
He knows a lot about football. He doesn't know a lot about Colorado football.
Yeah, no, you know sports.
Yes, I know sports. Yeah, but you said I don't know football.
No,
anyway,
Colorado
just go.
football.
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. Just
yeah.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, this is new for us, so it's going to be ugly. Probably
it's going to be ugly.
Bit.
Yeah.
It's we're both two middle-aged dads, divorced, decided to move in to a house together just to have the big man cave house thing going on, which we love because I have all my music stuff, and we can watch sports when we want, and we can sleep when we want, and we can do whatever. It's awesome. I'm enjoying it. Anyway, hi Gary.
Hi John. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The big 5'5". I'm officially a senior today.
You're a double nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I can
double
go to Furs and get that discount.
He can. He can get us to move into that senior trailer park down the street. So, fingers crossed, ladies.
Yeah. Hey, the ladies love a man that's not on a hunt around.
Hey, right?
You know, I learned that from my dad. He's like 88 and can walk. The ladies love my dad.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, he gets more girlfriends than I do.
He does. Yes. And the girls he gets are the same age as the one his dad gets. I'm not going to tell you who's doing better in that department.
That's not me. It isn't.
Colorado football.
Colorado football. Well, you know, the thing is Colorado, I was born and raised in Boulder, grew up there, went to Whittier Elementary. Then they, after first grade, moved me to Washington Elementary, and I wasn't doing very well. So they moved me to a little tiny school, Seventh-day Adventist school, up on the hill by the church up there off of Mapleton, called Boulder Junior Academy, which are now condos. I went to Casey Junior High, started acting at Boulder Dinner Theater when I was in 7th grade, and all my friends that did Boulder Dinner Theater went to Fairview High School, so instead of going to Boulder, I went to Fairview, which pissed a lot of my friends off, but whatever. I loved to go into Fairview. And then, honestly, I only went to Colorado University a little bit in junior high because I was voted most talented because I could do the moonwalk. And they sent us to a gal named Jenny Pettit and I up to the makeup department and got to do some classes up because of the theater department. So I didn't really go to CU, but I took a class there. I couldn't afford to go to CU, didn't have the grades for CU, so instead I went in the Navy and saw 17 different countries, was an aircraft firefighter on the flight deck of aircraft carrier, and enjoyed that instead. Planned on going back to college, but I started my own business instead and never really needed school. So
there you go.
That's kind of my story. I've been going to Colorado University games since I was little. 75, I think I went to my first one. My dad delivered mail in Boulder for 25 years. He delivered to a bank that owned the Williams Towers and donated them to the school back, I think it was the 70s, 60s, 70s. But anyway, the Williams family were gracious enough to give my dad season tickets to the games the following year. So I would have never been able to afford to go to games without that. So I'm forever grateful. Been to games in 2 feet of snow. I've been to games where it was raining on us. Been to games where it was beautiful. Remember seeing Eddie Crowder, the coach in the 70s, which his assistant, which I can't remember his name because he was only there like a half season, full season before Bill McCartney took over. Watched Bill McCartney coach all the way through until the championship, and then he went and did Promise Keepers. And Rick Neuheisel took over and got paid a bunch of money to go to Washington. Took half our players and a bunch of money. And
You sound bitter about that.
I'm a little pissed.
Well, you don't have to be now. You got Prime.
We have Prime, so I can't. Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm sorry.
Look forward.
Look forward, not
man.
back. And I'm just trying to give the history of it. And yeah, but Gary was a little mad when we got Prime, and the Broncos got Sean Payton. You weren't happy.
You guys really screwed Arizona over on coaches there, so thank you for that one.
Yeah, well. Although I'd love to see you get a championship because Colorado's kind of flush with them, over and over and over.
That is literally like saying, I hope someday you find a girl because I have 20 of them. That does not make me feel better, John.
We do.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, Colorado has a Stanley Cup recently and just won the NBA title, and the Broncos have Super Bowls, and Arizona has a 2001 World Series. So put that in your hat and smoke it. Pipe and smoke
Listen,
it.
Arizona State has a beautiful stadium.
They do.
Nobody goes.
Yeah,
but you know,
it is true.
Hey,
yes.
I promise you, there will be people at the Colorado
At the
game.
Colorado game. Well, that's good.
I can't promise you. Last year we went to every game and it was, ugly. I want them to do well for you because I love you.
That's good, but this is about Colorado. So why are you so excited this year? I've seen what you guys did. I know a lot of people are getting on Prime and the Colorado staff for. I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I heard abusing the transfer portal. Like, what do you think when you hear that? Like,
I think that if you need championships and you want to take them there, you have to abuse somebody. Look at I remember. I just watched I read an article recently. One of the guys that are in the equipment room said it's just unreal the difference in just the size of the guys that have come in versus last year's team. I appreciate last year's team. Did I not watch every game?
You did.
Cried through every one of them except the Cal one, and I even cried because they rushed the field. I cried when Coach Prime got hired. That's how bad it is. It's bad. I'm just so happy about having a new team, having a new situation. He may have been able to do it a little more gentle, maybe, but the thing is every coach does that. Every coach goes in, I guarantee you, he did it when he went to Jackson State. He went, listen, guys, the ones aren't cutting it. I'm going to give you a chance, but if you're not making it,
well, again, I'm not trying to be a naysayer. I don't even have anything. Like, I want Colorado to do well for you and the fans of the Buffaloes, but like some of the things I've heard, like just this gives you an opportunity to address it.
Oh yeah.
Like, why? What about the loyalty to the players who were willing to go to play for Colorado when they didn't have Prime, when they had the bad record, and then all of them that were either dismissed or told you're gonna be dismissed, so you may want to walk away if you want an opportunity to play football. Like, sure. I mean, just what do you have to say about that? Like, again, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, and we have Bradley Beal, Booker, and KD. Like, I get that super team mentality, and I couldn't be more excited about our Suns this year. But like, just an opportunity to address, like, what do you think about that? The players that were dismissed, the loyalty that they had before, but wasn't shown to them with the new regime.
I would say it's just not even apples and oranges anyway, because when the other coaches got in there, they were kind of handcuffed a little bit because Colorado had some rules as far as eligibility. A lot of classes would not be able to wouldn't count for them to come over. A lot of the credits that they'd worked on previously, they couldn't carry those over. So a lot of guys were like, why would I switch schools? All these classes I'd already taken aren't going to count in Colorado. So that changed. So that right there helps quite a bit. to answer your question is that's the reason why they didn't have a Power 5 team. The reason they went 1-11 is because they didn't have a team that could actually go 6-6 or 8-10 or whatever it's going to be. So, any coach that goes in and sees the team, he did give them a chance to do that. I mean, I flew out to the spring game and saw it and watched those guys, and God love them. I hope all of them find a place where they're going to be able to play, but none of them were on the level that Colorado deserves as far as its history, and they just recruited poorly for a lot of years because they didn't have the team, they didn't have the coaches, they didn't have the money, and they didn't have the eligibility to be able to go over and do that. So, it's just one of those things that it is what it is, and a lot of people are like, oh, but these are just kids. They're just kids. No, they're adults. So they're 18. They can go fight for their country. They should be able to drink, in my opinion. If you can go kill somebody, you should be able to drink.
We're not condoning drinking under 21, but yes.
Drinking age was 18 when I was in Colorado.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's probably why they...
He used to ride his horse and buggy to the saloon. Anyway, I get what you're saying, like they're kids or whatever, but like it was just such a large number. I mean, what percentage of last year's team is returning?
I think they have 10 players total.
10 out of
90.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they definitely they flipped it, but they wouldn't. Like he said, I want to win now, and he was honest up front. The difference between what Coach Prime is doing versus any other coaches, it's out there. They have the visibility, they have the cameras, they have the podcasts, they have his son and a couple other guys, going in and recording everything but what their plays are. So they're recording a lot of what Coach said and did and that kind of. So there's a lot of background that they're showing. If Nick Saban had,
I was just gonna say, like, basically all that's happened is Colorado is finally entering the world of the Alabamas and the LSUs and the Ohio States and the UCLAs and USCs that have always just played off of name, and then they haven't. Well, okay, UCLA and USC kind of up and down, right? But like any of your SEC teams, like because of the conference they're in, because of the coaches they have, because of the winning record, they continue to get the top talent. And now Colorado is just playing in the same sandbox. I mean, maybe not exactly the same sandbox, yet, but I guess I'm just a disgruntled Pac-12 fan who wishes we had the ability to recruit like that. So I get that. I do feel for some of the kids who, maybe had an opportunity, but like, especially the ones who maybe grew up in the Boulder area or Colorado and always were fans of the Buffaloes and could have gone somewhere else, but decided to stay loyal to their home team.
And they do have some walk-ons that are doing that. But at the end of the day, honestly, Gary, he let them play through the spring game all the way through to see who was going to be able to make it and who wasn't going to. So it's not like he said, okay.
No, I understand that. I understand that. You've replaced 80 of the 90 people with better players. Like, there's not an argument there.
Way bigger.
Yeah, I'm not.
Better,
that's not the argument.
It's just the kids.
What I'm saying is, I feel kind of bad for those guys. Okay, now that being said, like, you guys had a what record was it last year?
1-11.
1-11. What is the what's the lowest acceptable win rate this year? What are you expecting, and what would be a home run?
If we could get 6, if we could go to a bowl game,
Is that the lowest amount that you'll accept for this year being a success?
No, I think it, honestly, if you look at other teams that have come in and rebuilt and are in the rebuilding stage, if you get 3 games on top of what you did before, you're
4.
doing great. So 4 to 5, I'd be like, okay, I can live with that.
Could you honestly though? Do you think?
Yeah, I could.
Do you think you could?
Because
what about the majority of fans? Because I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
We just started from the bottom. Now we're here. Don't make me sing the rap song.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Like, do you think 4 is acceptable for the donors and the fans and in general? I
think sure. I think there is a percentage that are like real like diehard fans, boosters, people like Cordell Stewart that went there. Like, there are a lot of people that are Little John like did a line about Coach Prime in Colorado at the Emmys the other night with this rap song. I mean, he's got a lot of eyes on him.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so those guys, that faction, which I don't know how much of a percentage it is, I think they could live with 4 or 5 games and would love a bowl game. You have to be realistic. There are certain new fans that have come in because they aren't Colorado fans. They are Prime fans, period. I think they're expecting a lot more.
Do you think it's realistic to expect a bowl game in the first year?
I do.
See, I do too.
I do.
I do with the coaching staff that you have and the number of players that you've brought in who are 4 and 5 stars. Like, I really think that it's not unreasonable to accept a bowl game. But what are you thinking they're going to hit? 5, 6?
I think they're going to hit. I think they're going to hit a bowl. I do. I don't know if they're going to get anything.
So that's
over
6,
that.
right? You got to win 6.
I'd be happy to win 6 this year.
Yeah.
That would be. I'd almost want a parade for that. It's because it's such a. The thing is I lived through. Like I said, I lived through the 70s and the Eddie Crowder days, watching my dad watch it on football and throwing stuff at the TV because he's so mad at him because they just weren't winning. And then we lived through the McCartney years, which started out, poor because he had to build up and he didn't have the transfer portal. But he took him to almost 2 national championships. Just absolutely built a great program. And then, of course, Rick Neuheisel comes in, destroys it. And then we have some guys like Rick Barnett came through, Gary Barnett came through, and we've had some other coaches. We had he did okay for a while. We had some really good teams throughout, but nothing championship level wise. And then we ended up getting a good year in 2016. It was called the Rise. We went to the Pac-12 championship, but lost handedly, so it wasn't even. I mean, it was a great season, but we've just been down for so long that we just need something to come back and hit. So I think that's why a lot of people are like, "Hey, you know what? Thank God we have the team that we have. Thank God we have the coaching staff we have."
Yeah.
Gary, we haven't had anything decent since McCartney, in my opinion. I mean, Barnett was pretty good, but I mean, we have 2 Alabama defensive coaches. We have the head coach from Kent State as our offensive coordinator. We have 2 NFL coaches that are helping.
Yeah, I feel really sorry for you guys. I'm an Arizona State
excited.
fan. Let's, Anyway, all right. So
You got that great quarterback though that was supposed to go to TCU. What's his name?
no, he was supposed to go to Florida State. Yeah,
And then TCU
but
wanted him.
but I have a question for you. What's your litmus test like? What's the game this year that you're really looking at, and you're like, this is when I'm gonna know whether or not we're on the right track?
Honestly,
Is it TCU?
right out of the gate, man. Right out of the gate, I think we're going to know for the most part what we have. That first game in Texas, man, I'd love to go there, but I can't. But yeah, I think that TCU is going to be a really good gauge of what we have.
Yeah.
If that game goes poorly, my first game I'm really have an eye on. I mean, I'm excited about the TCU game, obviously, because I want to see if this experiment's going to work. It's kind of like Moneyball. They changed the whole thing. That's why people don't like Prime right now. Is he's changing the whole system. But I think Nebraska is my biggest one I'm looking at because there's such a deep rivalry with Nebraska. We used to have T-shirts because we were in the Big Ten, and we used to have T-shirts that we wore to the games that said Oklahoma sucks on the front, but Nebraska swallows on the back. So so that's kind
Nebraska
of
Swallows. I saw one when I was bird watching the other day. A big red Nebraska swallow.
So anyway, that's how old school fans feel about Nebraska. So Nebraska is a big one to see because it's not only is it at home, it's a big rivalry. It's going to be packed, sold out. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond. Now TCU has a pretty decent stadium, and Colorado fans do travel well, especially to somewhere like Texas where it's not that far away. It's easy to fly to, whatever. But a home game sold out, that's going to be an interesting one because we will be able to see what it looks like, sounds like, feels like in front of a home field. And then the next one, like our next kind of rival, if you would lately, that because we've never beat them, is USC. I really want to beat USC. I really do. Any other game, whatever, we're gonna lose some, we're gonna win some. But man,
Yeah.
I'd sure like Nebraska and USC. I'd like to
Caleb
see those
Williams is
two.
a stud, though. Yeah. I hope the Cardinals get him, by the way. Sorry, Kyler. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's sorry about Kyler.
No, I'm not sorry about Kyler. I like Kyler. I'm not going to talk about pro football right now, but he and I know he needs a bigger line in front of him. He needs more protection, but I don't know if with his size, his style of football is something that is sustainable. That's all I'm saying.
And about 5 inches.
There you go. Speaking of another short quarterback in Colorado.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway, this is a
pro. This is a
Buffsincebirth. Exactly.
Buffsincebirth. But hey, we're talking sports. We're talking football. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for just buffs and it's only going to be buffs all the time, you're barking up the wrong stripper pole. We're honestly, we're probably going to start in California and end up in Missouri. I mean, we go off in whatever. So if you don't like that, then I'm sorry.
There will always be an element of the buffs in it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's going to be generally, but we just don't know how to not just go crazy.
What note you got? You had other things. I feel like I've been railroading the conversation.
No, you're helping very much, because if I did this by myself, we'd be done. Yeah, so...
I know they're all like, God, I wish he was by himself.
Yeah.
I have to go make dinner.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, man. Let me put my old man glasses on, because I am 55 after all.
Double nickel, happy birthday.
Right. I wanted to... I just kind of wanted to go over why I'm doing this, just the love of the team and the love of Boulder, Colorado.
I think you did that.
I would love to, and the thing is I moved back to Colorado in 2018. I'd gotten divorced and gone through some things, went back for a couple of years, and it just didn't feel the same. I mean, the cheapest house in Boulder's $1 million. I can't even live in the town I grew up in. The rents are insane. My nephew my nephew did go to CU, worked his way through 6 years of school, really proud of him, graduated, and he was in a tri-level up in Table Mesa, and he was paying, I think, $1,000 a month for a room and had to share a bathroom, and he had 6 other guys living with him. So, I mean, it's just, you can't even live there, and I have friends that teach in Boulder, can't live in the town they teach in. So, I mean, I love Boulder, Colorado dearly. I just have my lottery ticket. You never know. If it hits, I'll have a house in Boulder. But beautiful place.
Or we'll start a GoFundMe. Send a couple of old guys to Colorado.
There you go.
.com.
So we'll go over that. Sometimes we'll talk about roster stuff. Sometimes we'll just talk about CU. When the games start, it'll be easier because you can actually talk about the games. We can talk about ASU.
Yeah.
Don't mind doing that at all. I think
that's all right. Great. We'll save that.
Oh, that's all right. Maybe we'll do our own podcast, but we'll only do it like once every 3 months.
He's from the Scottish Highlands of Colorado, apparently, people.
Anyway, and I would like to thank a few people, like Cullen from Life and Football.
What's his handle on YouTube?
It's Life and Football.
Life and Football.
Life and Football. But Cullen has been incredible. I've talked to a few people, and I talked to Chris in Colorado at the spring game. I've met the DNVR guys a couple times, RK and Henry and Zach. And
do you know Chris's handle, or we're going to get that on the next one?
Chris is Alpine Garage.
Alpine Garage. Check out Alpine Garage and Life in Football.
And then DNVR is probably the best one. Like,
yeah.
RK went to Fairview, is from Boulder, cares enough about the Buffs as much as I do. We've met and talked about it. Really cool guy.
Oh, and DNVR, if you remember the pennant that you got, the University of Colorado pennant that you got recently and you put on your table there, this is the guy who sent it to you.
Oh, yeah, so. That's me. Yeah. I told them I was sending it, so they knew for the most part. But they have these great pennants behind them. And they have 2 Nuggets ones, they have a Raptors ones, they have one that is the old Colorado Rockies hockey team. A lot of people don't realize that. And then I think they have the Denver Broncos one. I'm like, why don't you have a Buffs pennant behind you? So I sent them one because they need to put one up there. So anyway, they're good about all that stuff, believe me. And then Harry B. Met him and talked to him for a little while. Just really cool guy. But I will tell you that I actually I've been able to talk to the DNVR guys, and they've been really helpful. But Colin with Life and Football, I emailed everybody because I wanted to do this and get some ideas and that kind of thing, what to do. And Colin literally called me that next day. Like, I think I emailed him that 10 o'clock at night. He called me the next day, and I've talked with him a couple times and been back and forth. He's been incredibly helpful, so thank you, Colin. He's my first subscriber. Oh, by the way, if you like this at all, subscribe and like.
Yes, exactly. Or subscribe and like. I don't know. Hey, I got one last thing before we peace out.
Bell.
And we go grab dinner for this man's birthday and sing a little karaoke because we're kind of awesome at karaoke. That's what old single divorced dudes do. Who's the biggest coup? What's the biggest player that you got that you're the most excited about getting and you can't believe we got? And A, what qualities do they bring to the football team? And B, what surprises you most about your ability for Colorado to sign them over another well-known school?
Okay. First part of that question is really difficult because it's like I was watching DNVR guys, and he's like, dude, if we got 1 3 or 4 star, we would be blown away. That's all we would talk about. We got a 4-star, offensive lineman, corner, whatever. That's all we'd be talking about. And we'd be talking about it once a week, not every day like a lot of these podcasts are. And so it's really difficult for me. I mean, we got 2 5-stars, Travis Hunter, Cormani McLean, 2 5-star corners that are going to be insane. Both Travis plays both ways, so he can play defense and offense. We have one of the best quarterbacks. I'm not a big fan of, because we had it happen a couple times, like McIntyre, having their sons play quarterback, but I think Shador's way far beyond what we need to worry about with that. He's amazing. So it's hard to pick one.
But you have to. Pick one kid that you love more than the others. Let's go. Come on, make a commitment here.
Okay.
It's going to be on camera.
Well, it's
archived.
I'm gonna. Can I do 2?
Nope.
All right.
Next one we'll go to number 2. Okay. This is 1A. We'll do 1B next time.
All right. I honestly think it's Travis Hunter.
Okay. Tell me about Travis Hunter.
He was committed to school in Florida. Coach Prime flipped him to go to Jackson State. His first year playing, he was hurt a little bit, but man, this guy makes receivers look like they're standing still. What I also like about him is that he's a good kid. Like, he's a really good
What do you got,
kid.
2 more years out of him?
We have 2 more years out of him. Yeah, I don't think we'll get, even if we had 3 or 4 in 2 years, he'll be in the NFL. He's a top 10 recruit. I mean, this guy is unfreaking believable. He is a top 10. So I wouldn't be surprised if we only got him 1 year when he didn't go to the.
No, how many years of eligibility? Like, how many does he have to play?
I think he has 2.
Because if he played 1, he's going to play another. You have to play. Yeah.
You have to play 2 to go to the league.
Yeah.
So if he played this year, I wouldn't be surprised.
You said he was hurt. I didn't know if he was redshirt or whatever.
Honestly don't know. I can't remember. But no, really great kid. And I mean, he brought him to Jackson State, and I'm just grateful that he. The third part of that was how did we get him over other schools? Coach Prime. I mean, we wouldn't be getting anybody, because he could have stayed at Jackson State. He could have gone. This kid could have gone to Alabama, Georgia, anywhere he wanted. But he followed Deion Sanders to Colorado. And
well, I guess as a corner, I mean, what better man to learn from, huh?
Yeah, and not to mention we got 2 5-star, not 3-star, not who's that guy again? Who's that guy? We got 2 5-star corners, and then just we're so stacked, it's incredible. This is a very interesting experiment. It's like Moneyball. People are not happy about it because it's changed, so he's getting a little pushback. But I tell you what, they're a 20-point underdog against TCU.
But think about that. Like, I get they got all these great players. I get that they have an amazing coach and coaching system. But can you name another time? And you out there may know. I can't off the top of my head. But can you name another time that his school started the season with an almost completely new team and a completely new coaching staff? Like, both? Like, a lot of times you'll have players that were recruited, they've been there, it's their 4th year in the system or whatever, and a bunch of new coaches, right? Yeah. Or you'll have this tenured coaching staff and you lost a lot of people to graduation and the draft, right? You guys are starting brand new. You bought a brand new house in a brand new neighborhood. You don't know how well that house was built yet. You can imagine it's a reputable builder. You know, they've built other homes and you've seen them succeed.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You may have gotten a lemon, right? And then as far as your neighbors, you don't know if your neighbors are any good. If they're nice, they're kind, they're trustworthy. You guys are starting with two brand new things. So it is an experiment. And that's why at the beginning I asked you what the expectations were. I agree that if you guys get to, I personally think you need to get it to at least 5. I'm not saying a bowl game, but I think at least 5 to say, hey, this thing definitely could work. And I'm talking about 5 wins and then 2 or 3 well-played close losses. To me, like blowouts, no. But if you could get there, it would show that it's trending in the right direction. Should you have expectations of more? Absolutely. You're a Buffs fan. Like, you absolutely should. This is super exciting. But this hasn't been done.
Yeah.
At least that I know of, it hasn't been done. So
I guess
I'm not a Buffs fan. I hope for you and anybody else out there who's a Buffs fan that you guys do well. Unfortunately, you're in the same Pac-12 as my Sun Devils, so I could never 100% root for you. Yeah, exactly. Well, eventually it's just going to be, I think, Arizona State and I don't know, Oregon State that are in like the Pac-2. And then you guys are all going to go somewhere else. But anyway.
What conference you played? Pac-2.
I'm excited for your podcast, man. Thank you for having me on. I'll be on as much as I can.
Sure. It's nice to have other opinions and stuff, and I know you care about me caring about football. I care about the Suns and all that. I mean, I've been here since '99, so I actually have adopted. I think you should. When you move to a place, especially for a long period of time, you should adopt those teams as well. Nothing wrong with having your old, home teams, but I love your teams as much as you do because I've been here half my life.
Well, that's a nice thought, but I used to live in Los Angeles, and if I ever wore a Dodgers hat, I would have to jump in front of something, so I would never do that. But I understand that.
You were only in LA a couple of years, though. You weren't there 20 years.
Okay, granted, yes.
So that's, if you're there a couple of years, but if you're there like 20 plus years, I think, and I did, I go and watch every, I'm a veteran, so I get these vet ticks, and so I go to even when he doesn't go, I go to ASU games, do I not?
He does.
So I love the Arizona teams as much as I can, but I am a diehard. I mean, I love my Broncos. I love my Nuggets. I cried when they have.
He loves his Nuggets.
I love my Nuggets.
Can we just get that as a meme? Can I get a meme of him saying "I love my Nuggets"? That's anybody. If you could please do that and then send us the link, that would be amazing. Because I'm going to use that in every post I ever make going forward.
And I do love my Nuggets.
He loves his Nuggets.
I love my Nuggets. But, the Avalanche cried when they got the Stanley Cup. I was excited for the Nuggets, but I've been watching the Nuggets since I was little, do nothing for years and years and years. So I'm excited they finally got it, but it was a little bit kind of, all right, finally. Love my Broncos, but, man, I would die for my Buffs. I am a Buffs fan through and through, and just bleed black and gold.
Buff since birth.
Buff since birth. And I have a lot of friends that do as well. If you like this, like and subscribe. We'll be doing this every once in a while, and hopefully our first one went well. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's go drink and sing karaoke.